Hi, everyone. I'm here today with Adam McDaniel, Holly Olson, and Monica Gillen from Henry Schein. We are talking about the AI that is integrated in Dentrix Ascend. Adam, can you take a couple of minutes introducing yourselves and what you do for Henry Schein, and tell us about what we're going to talk about today?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for allowing us to be with you today, and it's a great opportunity. So my name is Adam McDaniel. I am one of our directors of product management, and I work on a fantastic product team that brings great solutions from Henry Schein One to our dental customers. And then today we're talking specifically about Detect AI for Dentrix Ascend. And Holly and Monica are from our marketing team and are here to add anything about the Detect AI product if we have any additional points that I need help with. So
great. Let's dig in. Let's I've made you co-host, so go ahead and share your screen if you don't mind, and I will kind of try to ask you questions regarding this this whole technology that I've been using for almost a year now.
Yeah. Can you see everything?
Yes, we can. So this is basically the schedule for Dentrix Ascend, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I wanted to point out that I really, really love about our imaging solution as well as our AI solution is how integrated it is with the regular practice management system. One thing that's really important for us, Dr. Bob, is that we want to make sure clinical tools are at the hand of the clinical team and they don't have to go somewhere else to get them. So let me just walk you through. We've got a patient here. I go to their clinical chart. And as you can see with our chairside dashboard, you've got the x-rays over here to the side. Which are right at your fingertips, and you can view those images easily right by your clinical information. Our imaging solution, and as you know, is integrated and part of the Dentrix Ascend practice management system. So instead of launching another browser tab or going to a different window and logging into your imaging, it's all part of the same workflow. It's all part of the same screen.
Yeah. And Adam, I want to, if you don't mind,
please,
kind of interrupt you in the middle so I can kind of point this out to people who are watching this or listening to this. You're full screen now. This is basically a Chrome window, right? Google Chrome web browser. This is a window within it. And as you went from the schedule to the patient to the x-ray, nothing else opened up. You're still within the same window, correct?
Yeah, well said. Well said. Exactly. Yeah, same window. I didn't have to open to a different tab or anything else. And yeah, I'm just full screen on my Chrome browser. But yeah, this is just using Google Chrome. So really simple and easy to access. And the great thing is, I'm accessing it on my Mac right now, but I could be on my Windows machine. I could be on my iPad that I've got right here and open up Dentrix Ascend. So really versatile as far as how you want to get to the information and review it.
And this imaging module is divided into 4 different sections. However, I do know that it can go up to 6, as in CBCT, and your STL files for intraoral scanners can also be uploaded to Dentrix Ascend and appear here.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So if there's this patient happens to have just 2 of the 4, but if you had a cone beam or you had a 3D volume, then it would show those as well. So there is up to 6 different image modalities. And the great news is with imaging, and this kind of plays hand in hand with AI. There's other AI solutions out there, and those other AI solutions really rely on what type of imaging you're using. The great thing with Dentrix Ascend and Detect AI is that we allow you to use whatever sensor device you're using, and we'll analyze that for AI right inside of the same area. And I can show you that in just a minute, but that's the great thing about it is if you like DEXA sensors, great. Use a DEXA sensor. You like Romexa sensors, or let's say you like SUNY sensors, or let's say, Sirona, great. Then use that. Use the hardware you're most clinically comfortable with.
Yeah, this is kind of important to stress as well, because I do a lot of beta testing for different companies. In my 7 ops in the office, we literally have 6 different sensors. And the beauty of Dentrix Ascend is that it's basically like a drop-down menu. You pick different sensors and boom, it directly integrates. And now, yes, if you can go ahead and click that, if you can show
absolutely.
people, this would be
again, like you said, we're in the same thing. I didn't open up to a new area.
Right.
And to your point, these are the ones that are currently installed on my computer. And the great thing is that I don't have a huge list. It's just the ones that I've set up for my demonstration. But you can see I've got simulation, but I've got phosphor plate, I've got the Dexis, the Plan Mecha one, the SoPro, E2V. But to your point, Doctor, you've got probably all of your 6 listed right there.
No, actually, I have all of them since I did some beta testing for the real cloud. And this is literally, I think, 1/5 of what is available. Every sensor is there. I mean, even not a well-known sensor such as Owandi is there. But the point you were trying to make, and I want to tell people, is that this AI actually works on all of them. It treats it exactly the same. You don't say, oh, this one works for this sensor, but doesn't work for that. If the image can be incorporated into Dentrix Ascend, the AI will analyze it. I even have a ScanX phosphor plate system, and it works perfect on it. And our old x-rays, like I tell the hygienist, hey, go back to 3 years ago when we took bite wings and let's analyze it. And then we'll analyze that as well.
Yeah, well said. I mean, you can even import images to your point, and I'm happy to show the supported list because the list is long. Let's see if I can just bring it up really quick here. Let's see. There it is, Dentrix Ascend.
And while you're bringing that up, let me explain, and I talk about this in my group and my other videos, that there is a difference between direct integration and using a bridge called the Twain software. The Twain software, you're at the mercy of the filters the manufacturer of that sensor gives you. The direct integration is when the imaging companies, such as the Real Cloud Imaging that does the imaging for Dentrix Ascend, uses the best available filters to give you the best end result. And that's what Adam is looking for, to see who can directly integrate with Dentrix Ascend. And I think almost everything, right?
Yeah, so here's a list. This is a list because of our Dentrix Ascend and Dentrix Imaging products. It's all listed there. But look, you've got Acteon, Dexis, Gendex, Jazz Sensor, Cavo Sensors, Midmark Sensor, Planmeca, Shix, Soto Sensors, E2V, Romexis, and then you've got the phosphor plate like you had, where it was Air Techniques, ScanX, and a bunch of different ones, the Dur Vistacam ones, Cavo's ScanX devices, Gendex, Denoptics one, and then you've got your PANs and your Cephs, and then intraoral, and to your point, 3D volumes as well that will deliver those 3D volumes right into Dentrix Ascend. To your point, you mentioned earlier, the great thing is I'm still in my practice management system. I can still see my patient. I can still link over to an area that they need to go, but I'm now in my imaging clinical tool. So I'm just going to choose a bite wing and take a bite wing. And like you've probably mentioned before, I love Ascend Imaging because it has the CDT code right there. It's going to automatically post to the ledger and to the patient's record. And it's going to post with the provider I choose and the correct charges. I'm going to click on proceed with acquisition.
Adam, I'm
Yeah,
gonna I'm gonna
please.
interject again here because that's one of the most important thing about Dentrix imaging, and that's directly posting to the ledger. You don't know how many times us as dentists realize, oh my God, they took an X-ray, but it never got billed to the insurance company. This once you take the image, it automatically charges to the ledger and into the insurance company.
Yep, that's exactly right. It's
I don't think
exactly.
anybody else has that.
It's no one else does. It's really a unique workflow, and I'll tell you our little secret where we got it. We got it by talking to clinical teams like yours. We got it by sitting down and saying, what are some of the things that take time? And what we found out was it takes time to update the practice management system with what takes place in your imaging system. And sometimes that doesn't even happen. Sometimes people forget to do it. In fact, we reviewed practice management systems before we created this and found out about 30% of the time, you don't post the procedure codes back in the practice management system for the images you took. So you have a bite wing in your imaging system, but you don't have record of that bite wing in your practice management system. And so it was something, thanks to our customers and thanks to feedback of, clinical teams like yours, that we were able to put in what I consider a really great time-saving workflow, as well as helping your clinical records be accurate. While we were talking, some magic happened behind the scenes. We captured the X-ray. We sent that X-ray automatically off to the AI to review it. And the AI already came back and provided us with feedback on the X-ray right here on the screen. So it's not a separate application I need to go to. It's not a separate X-ray I need to view. It's built into the X-ray that I just took. So it's easy for me to see, easy for me. And the great thing is I can now take that image and modify it. I can, change it. I can colorize, I can highlight, I can, put a spotlight on in certain areas that I wanted to look at here. So I can do that on the X-ray that has the AI results right on it.
Also, Adam, I want to interject again here as someone who uses this technology on a daily basis. I want everybody to still look at it. This is the same window, and this is the imaging software basically integrated within Ascend. Also, Adam, if you don't mind, there's a little icon of an eye on the bottom. If you click it, it can take off the AI and you can see your X-ray. So it's not like, here we go. Yeah, if you basically, yep, you can turn it on and off and realize, this is how I use it. I don't trust machines. I don't trust computers. I'm the doctor. I need to diagnose. What the machine does is, for me, if I'm rushed, I know I'm not going to miss small little things. Now, do I choose to do it? It's up to each doctor's philosophy. So I basically tell my hygienist, turn it off. Go ahead, Adam, turn it off. I look at the decay and I'm like, this is not completely through half of the enamel. I may choose to watch this. Some other doctor may choose to do the cavity. But on the bottom one, go ahead and turn it on. It seems to me that there is decay underneath that filling, so we need to be a little bit more proactive on that in my practice. But this is how I use it in my practice, and it's very, very efficient. I don't look at it as an ROI for my practice. I look at it as, hey, making sure I'm not missing anything.
I think that's really well said. The whole idea behind putting AI in this imaging software was never our intention to replace a clinical diagnosis. The main purpose for us was to add a tool that the dentist can use for patient education, as a way to help discuss certain treatments with patients, as a way to discuss, hey, we have an AI system. I had a doctor that told me once that she had a conversation with her patients after setting this up, and she said, I just tell my patients I've invested in an AI system that helps review those x-rays and provides me an extra set of eyes. I review those, and we'll then together discuss what both I see and what the AI sees, and then ultimately decide what the proper treatment plan is. There's some really interesting FDA studies, because we definitely believe in having our AI reviewed by the FDA and cleared by the FDA. And in the FDA study that we did with our partner VideaHealth, we were able to show in that study that this helps detect early caries and also helps with a lot of detections that could have been something that would be potentially missed. Now, to your point, doctor, if you don't want to do the work on it, don't do it. The AI is not saying you have to do the work. It's just letting you say, hey, is this an area of concern? No, I want to watch that one. Or maybe it's an early enough carie that you can do an air abrasion or remineralization potential. And so those are also options too. But again, ultimately, it's up to you.
Adam, you mentioned FDA. I also want to bring up this, that there are AI technology out there that are not FDA approved. Am I correct in assuming that?
Yeah, it's an interesting area because it's so new. There are some things that are just informational purposes that do not have to go through FDA clearance. There are some, like caries detection, where I think there's a general agreement at this point now that you need to have FDA clearance in order to call yourself a true caries detection AI. So yeah, there are some companies out there that do not go through FDA clearance for all of their indications. And so that's something, if I'm talking to a dental team about how to choose the right one, that's one of the criteria. I would definitely say that's one that you should look at. The other one that's important to consider when choosing an AI solution is, how does it change or modify your workflow? Because if it makes it so your assistants have to learn something different, your dentists have to learn something different, the chances of them using that long term are going to be smaller. But to your point, like we've talked about, where it's on the same screen as where I always take my x-rays, the great news is you don't have to do anything differently.
Right. And I also want to bring this up that, when the hygienist is waiting for me and this picture is on a 40-inch TV in front of the patient, they can start talking about educating the patient, the lack of flossing, the plaque control, things like that. It's very effective and patients really like it. Again, I'm not using the word trying to do as many cavities as we can, but we can educate as, look, the computer is picking up some weak spots. We may not choose to do this filling now, but you need to do better oral hygiene, for example. And they're very, very receptive, and it has a big wow factor for the patients.
I completely agree with you there. I mean, me as a patient myself, we actually did a survey of some patients in some of our customers' offices that used AI and said, moving forward, would you go to an office that does not have AI? And it was really interesting that 80% of the patients that we surveyed that walked out of our beta dental offices said, I'm not going to go to another place unless they have AI. And again, I think it's to that point of, my dental team is using as many tools as they can to help me stay healthy and to help me understand. And I completely agree with you. I mean, this is sitting on the screen. These ones, this happens to be our good demo image here. All of these are green, but they do change colors. So this is your radiographic bone level, and they change from green and yellow and red based on some of the ADA standards. And again, to your point, doctor, completely up to the dentist on how they want to handle that. But it's a great conversation to the patient of, hey, notice this trouble area right here by this crown. you need to do a better job flossing, or you see all this buildup right here, or whatever it may be. Again, I know that's not on the screen, but just, hypothetically speaking.
I actually have posted some of the X-rays that the AI has picked up. It picks up overhangs on crowns. It picks up cement. It picks up the amount of bone above the collar or below the collar of an implant. It's very comprehensive, and I may actually post some of these X-rays in the group with this video, so people can actually evaluate it.
Yeah, that would be great. I can tell you one of the things that I really like about the AI, and this is something just people have to get used to, I think, is it's going to indicate on all the things you just said. That does not mean there are issues. That just means that it's trying to point you out to areas that you can, like you said before, doctor, you look at this and go, yeah, okay, that makes sense why it would do that, but I'm not going to do anything there. I'm going to watch that. This one, yeah, that one's definitely looks like it's past a certain point. We need to come up with a plan to deal with it. So some of the things are going to be, oh, that was an overhang. Yeah, I think we're good there. So it's not that the AI is broken. That's some feedback that I've heard. It's about the fact that the AI is looking for what we call anomalies. How the AI works is it's comparing this image to the millions of images that it's got in its library in a matter of seconds. And it's then pointing out things that are not normal according to the regular images that it reviews. And so that means it's just calling to your attention what to look at, not telling you that there's issues in every one of them.
Yes, absolutely. While we're here, I don't mind actually showing off the imaging module of Dentrix Ascend. If you don't mind clicking on the share button on the bottom. So if you're sending an X-ray to an insurance company, you can choose what you include with that. If you want to include the decay, you include the annotations and measurements. You can export it as whatever file system as you want. And if you have more than one, you can choose to export separately as one image or selected images. So it's a very
so if I had, to your point, if I had back in here, just to show people, I just did a single X-ray, but if we do a full mouth series, see that template of 18 images right there, you can export all of them, or you can select a handful that you need to export in that sequence.
Right. Yeah. So it's very comprehensive as far as an imaging software. I want to I always talk about this, that a lot of cloud companies are great in creating a software, but doing imaging is different. Only a handful, in my opinion, can do it. And in my opinion, Dentrix Ascend has the best imaging out there, and everybody knows how I feel about it.
Yeah, it's really, to your point, practice management in the cloud. There's some great solutions on the market. Obviously, I have my opinion with Dentrix Ascend, but to your point, where it comes to imaging, we really care about those clinical tools. Like for us, this is a big deal how we do our imaging. So you can see here's the 2 bite wings, and you can see on this one, it's identified some yellow areas just as kind of a different look and a different thing that you can look at. But yeah, I appreciate you saying that, because for imaging, for us, it's important. We want to make sure if you're going to be in the cloud, then your clinical tools shouldn't be any less than if you were on-prem.
Yeah, and you can also use your mouse on the image to change different brightness and contrast, and it's very user-friendly. And you can go back to reset it with the buttons on the bottom. You also have a recapture. So if you don't like an X-ray, you can actually click that and recapture that one single image, which this way that it doesn't go into the patient's ledger twice. Basically, it's the same X-ray, but it keeps both of them for your records.
Yeah, and the compare is fantastic, because then you've got a side by side of the images from any point in time, so you can go back into a previous image like this one back in 2017 and see those images side by side. Again, great thing, the AI is taking a look at that, and you can then see. And if you want to reevaluate an older image for AI, you absolutely have the ability to do that as well. So
Adam, go ahead and press the arrows on top of one of the x-rays. You can do this on a full screen as well, just in case. Here we go. And many times I ask my hygienist, go ahead, go full screen so I can see it better on the big screen. And then you can basically go back to the Chrome window.
Yep. Yeah, it's that simple.
Great. If you go to the tools, I think we have, yeah, and you have different, like the AI. If you click the AI button, now there is a link there that says Launch VideaHealth AI, and you by subscribing to this feature, you can actually get an account with VideaHealth AI, which is the company behind this technology, and they give you a lot more information there as far as bone loss and as far as what all these colors mean. And it's a very nice little tool if you wanted to use it. And I know that they're coming with more and more features for this in the near future.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. You know, if you want to dig into more of the results of this, we wanted to make sure, as we sat down with our partner Videa and said, how do we want to handle kind of share our relationship and share the workload? One of the things that was most important for us is we want to make getting to the AI results as easy as possible, and we'll take that. And then Videa, obviously with their expertise in AI, said if we have a dentist and a dental team who wants to dig into the AI results, then let's let them do that. And so to your point, one click away, I don't have my login, but one click away and it opens up the Videa software and allows you to then just log in and view this exact same image. You don't have to look the patient up. You don't have to go back and find the right image. It will just take you right over to Videa and log you right into this image so that you can, to your point, review. They have a side panel where you can review the details, review kind of the thresholds, and that kind of stuff. And so making it really easy. And these are the first two indications that we've done, caries and radiographic bone level. And you can see when you hover over, it gives you an idea of those measurements. So you can see when I hover over the radiographic bone level, it tells me, and then the caries, I can see it. We are adding more indications with the Videa team. They're currently in the FDA process, but we have some exciting ones coming in the next few months that will be available to all customers who've subscribed for this service today.
Yeah. And also, there is one more. The root tip markings are there already. So if you're measuring for a root canal on a PA, it started showing up for us last week.
Yep. Yeah. Then yeah, I'm glad you saw it. But yeah, so if we do PA, let's go ahead and go through and simulate that really quick. So we do our PA. And then again, after the capture, we're taking that image and just sending it over to the algorithm and then getting it right back for you. And so to your point, here is all of the root tips are now included in your PAs as well.
Right, so you basically can use the measuring tool on Dentrix Ascend.
Yep. So now with the measuring tool, obviously we want kind of a normally a probe to kind of measure our standard, right? So we'll calibrate it and say, okay, this is 2 millimeters or whatever. And once we've calibrated based on that probe, now to your point, we can now measure from apex and get us feedback on
that your calibration was not accurate. So that's
Yeah,
why.
no, obviously, yeah.
So people are going to say that that's not 4 millimeters, but that's the idea.
Yeah. Obviously, I didn't have a probe in here to measure against that. That's something that you absolutely would want to do in order to calibrate your measurement. So there's nothing wrong with the measurement. It's just my calibration was inaccurate. So yeah, but again, we don't want you to compromise on the tools that you need to make clinical decisions. This is not just a simple snap an x-ray and view it. No, this is comprehensive. You can measure density, you can do measurements, you've got annotation tools that you can use that says, hey, I want to focus on this area, and you can put text there. And again, we could say, I don't know, what should we say, Dr. Bob? Like,
watch this area.
Watch this area. And so, sorry. So we can move, and then we can adjust all these, and we can put these, to your point, sorry, we can put these on the claim. We can send these as the attachment. We can actually, I talked to a doctor just last week about Dentrix Ascend imaging, and they share these images with the patient and send them with the patient. So the patient can then go home and talk about treatment options and talk about, here's the radiographs that the doctor showed me, so that it can help with the treatment plan and treatment plan acceptance. So yeah, this is a full suite of tools to help you do better patient education, patient understanding, and then diagnosis.
Right.
The AI, for us, we're excited about the AI. And the AI is one of those tools. We don't think it anything different other than one of those tools that you need to use.
Great. Okay. Is there anything else you want to add for this feature? I know this this episode of our demo is just about the caries detection and the AI. Is there anything else that we haven't mentioned?
I think that covers pretty much everything. What's really important is, if you want some more information, I think your area, Dr. Bob, that you've got on Facebook, ask questions. Ask questions. There's people there who've got the solution and can give you some feedback and information. I think it's really important to get that feedback, and then don't hesitate to reach out to us. The great thing about Dentrix Ascend is we just can turn it on in your account. And then your x-rays start to have your AI detections on them. So it's really simple. It's not something that requires a lot of training time, and just something that you continue to do everything you're doing, and we add this information for you.
Yeah, and I wanted to kind of add a few things at the end, is that the impact of this technology on dentistry is going to be huge. Everybody's going to be using this. If you're not using it, you're not keeping up with the time. The insurance companies are using it. The DSOs are using it. The different group practices are going to be using it. It's good for communication. It has a lot of benefits. Sure, some people can abuse it and use this for different purposes when it comes to payment, but it is a great technology, and it enhances our skills as a dentist. So it's going to be here, and it's going to more and more offices are going to be using it. Also, the benefits, again, of this integrating with your software is that it's one software. You're not clicking on a different software. You're not depending on two different companies. Do you have anything else to add, Adam, to what I just said?
That was well said. Perfectly said.
Great. I want to thank you, you guys, for being here today. And hopefully in the future, we can have more features of Dentrix Ascend and Dentrix Ascend imaging for the members of my group.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for inviting us. And we'd love to be back anytime and talk about more of the things we're doing.
Great. Thank you.